Alright, we are now live. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's project, where I'm going to be modifying this little bridge unfolding setup. So, for those of you who don't know, with this setup, I have a mesh that I go and fold, and then I go and use that deformed mesh to go and displace instances. So we have the mesh that just unfolds, and then we have a whole ton of bricks that are generated, and those bricks are then moved by the setup using, fancy math and all that fun stuff. But yep, that is what is happening, and today's assignment basically is to make it a bit easier to control. So there are a few things with this setup that I want to change. The first one being that it's relying on the folding matrices to deform the bricks, while I would really like for it to just use the mesh, like not even if this had no deformation matrix on the face for the internal logic of the folding, it could just work. So that's the plan. And then I'm going to make it so that we'll use planks instead of bricks, because I want to see how that looks. I got some very nice plank models from Sketchfab. Let's go and select them all and bring them over here. So I want to see, I might add in some more variation because, they seem to be a little, boards look a little bit thick, oddly enough. Well, and then, yeah, I'll just try to make it so that that works. So, yeah, it should work out pretty well. Let me check the audio. All that seems to be fine. But yes, let's get going with all this. So, the main thing is I need to store a rest transformation matrix and then a post transformation matrix, and then just plug that into there and then it'll automatically transfer. And all that will be fine and dandy. So, I need to go and get a location, rotation, and scale for each face. So I'll need to use corner of face. Corners of face. So it'll take a face index and then we can evaluate at index. So we need to make sure that's a face corner. And then for here, we'll make that a position so that we can extract everything else. So we'll just need that and this. And then we'll just need the position. This won't take long. It'll take like maybe 5 minutes. We just need to do that. And then here, since we have the vector from one face corner to another, which I'm doing this on the wrong mesh. So let's go and actually show the mesh. So here, I'll take like face corner 1, face corner 2. It'll give us the length of that. And that'll give us the rotation as well. And we can also just extract the normal as well. So let's go and get the normal. Go and do that, and we'll use the true normal, and then let's go and copy the combined transform. So here for the position, we just, oh, wait a minute. Actually, yeah, wait a second. Do I need position? Yeah, how are we going to do that? Do I need to evaluate that in the face domain and then make it so that that goes on every vertex? Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna have to think about this one. Do we just evaluate the entire thing on the face corner domain? No. Okay, let's try this the simple way. Axes to rotation. There we go. So the primary axis should be the normal because that's the most reliable. Then the secondary one will just be this for the length. We just need to get the length of the segment, plug that into there. So we have those two components, and then the translation will just be the position in this case. And we just need to ensure that this is evaluated on the face domain. I might have to switch it to face corner, but I'm hoping that I don't have to do that. So I'll use a capture attribute node to capture this data before the bridge is put back in its rest position. So that right there is the, let's go and put this all into a frame, move it over. This is the deform matrix. And then we just need to do the same thing, but for the rest matrix. So I'll just have it so that it'll go right into there. So in theory, it might work or might not work. I'm not. Oh, wait, is that actually just working? Huh. For some reason, I thought that would be a bigger pain in the buttocks, but it looks like it's just working. Okay, let me do one more test with it. I want to see, actually we don't need that either. All we would need to do is connect you and you to there. And, what the heck, let's go and make it so that it's a switch node. I love matrices in Blender. It finally feels like, or not finally, but it feels like with matrices, like I'm doing stuff the proper way instead of having to split up the location, rotation, and scale. So we can see that there's a little difference between the two, but I think that's because, yeah, the scale is, taken out with the previous one. So here we can see, yep, it is exactly the same. Let's do a little speed test. So on the timing side, it is a little expensive. Meanwhile, if we flip this around, it is, okay, just about the same. So that is actually, oh, it's actually cheaper? Oh, no. I was like, wait, it's cheaper to do it? No, it's because we're storing that, and actually, that needs to be on the face domain. There was no reason why that should have worked. But here, the timing should be, yeah, pretty much the same. The only part that can be a little bit iffy would be, yeah, no, that's fine. So here we can chop out basically all of this and just go with that. So now this does not need any underlying or pre-existing data from the mesh, besides the rest position, obviously. So with just that and that, we now have all that working. I don't even need to store named attributes, even though that is, be good. So that's on the face domain, that's fine. No more interpolations. That part's fine. I don't think I can make that any faster than it already is. Yeah, no, all that seems to be good. Although, I just did that. That speeded up. Oh no, that actually might slow it down. Or no, it's about the same. Because that's taking the, or actually no, wait, that would be slower, wouldn't it? Or no, it should be the same. Because this would get the middle of the face to the first face corner. So again, if I want to actually demonstrate that, on say this face, it would take the center and then that, which means that for the center of the face, it has to evaluate all of them anyway. So I'm already doing that here. I could just go and pass this into there, and while it might not be the best, I'm trying to avoid any weird interpolations. Also, I could do, oh, what is this? Point of corner, or vertex of corner, okay. I'm trying to make this as fast as possible, so I'm going to do another little conversion here so that we can go on the point domain so that the position does not have to interpolate whatsoever. So, no, that's about the same. It seems like, no, that should be fine. Okay, so just for simplicity, I'm going to rely on the internal interpolations. Then here, we can just keep that there. Yeah, should be fine, in theory, though I probably should not. It's... Let's be that to there, and that would solve a lot, wouldn't it? Wouldn't have to do another evaluation. It could just be that running. Yeah, if it works, it works. I can go and do a comparison. Actually, no, I can't because I deleted it. Oh well. Less nodes, so it's automatically better. Okay. That's that, and that seems to work out pretty well. Little optimization so that it'll be easier to use. Again, to make this a proper setup. Like, it only works on the instances here, but I could make it work for meshes as well. Though it wouldn't have like super proper interpolation. Yeah, all that's fine. I'm just gonna make it so the rest position is exposed so people know that there's an actual thing there. I'm still not sure if I'm going to put this up for sale. Not sure at all. But with this, since it uses the folding setup already, I would just have to include the instance deformation. So this would be, let's see. instance, displacement or deformation. Deformation implies that we're bending the instances, while displacement, yeah. Instance mesh displacement. Or displace instances by mesh. No, it's fine. So we'll just label this face matrix. And the nodes are a little bit too compact for my liking, so I'm just gonna go and put that over there. Just make it a little bit cleaner. The length should be fine. Yeah, all that should be good to go. Then we can make it so that the scale is not used here, which we can see there. Let me just, yeah, well, that's fine. We can see that we have a few bricks that are floating, but I'm just assuming that that's because... Yeah, no, that's just because some faces are close to each other and the generation is a little bit off. But yeah, we can go and disable that or enable it. Though, I should do that in post like I had before. We can just go and use a separate transform, and then a combine transform. And then, yeah, so that just doesn't affect what's there. Okay, it does make the speed go down. Though, if I go and capture it beforehand, the instance domain, and then put this over to here, and then plug that into there. Wait. Okay, so that actually slows it down a lot. Interesting. So it would be more efficient to just call it there, and it would take less nodes. So, for the time being, I'm just gonna use a switch node for that. So there, we can go and say, or this would be a use scale parameter. So yeah, let's go and use a group input. This will be use face scale. And then we can have that on or off. Very nice, very good. Okay, that is ideal. I think that's everything. I love how simple this is now. Like, you know, setting this part up is still a little bit annoying because, you know, there's just not a face transform node group, which there shouldn't be. It's simple enough where, you know, the user can make it. But just doing all that, putting it in there, it's pretty good. So, now that we have that, let's go and save the file, and then go and change the generation. So instead of using this, we're going to swap it out with planks. So I'm just going to use that plank. And the generation here is still using the brick set. Oh my god, what have I done? Actually, no, that's not right. It should be a bit different. Oh. I'm using the UV tangent. Though I think the... Oh, it's not centered either. Ooh, that's weird. That's very unexpected. Okay. Forgot to do the quality check before, implementing that. So let's go and apply the rotations. The scales are already applied. So those are fine. But we can still see that there's some quirkiness happening there. We could fix it to a degree, but let's also go and turn off the rotation differences so that we can always add that in later. Let's just scale this until it feels somewhat right. Okay, that's close, but I need to... I forgot how to... I made this setup not too long ago. Why did I forget that? No, there we go. So that decides how the things alternate. So even with that, we can see, yep, it's working well. Though we just need to make it work a bit better, you know? And find a plank that is not, doesn't have a super sharp gradient like that. So one that's a bit more basic, and scale it until all this stuff works. So we can see with the way I set this up, the planks, oh, the position is wobbled. I forgot I put that in. There we go. So we have that, and that looks, you know, pretty good, pretty solid. I'll need to randomize the hues a bit. Again, that does seem to work. But yeah. And also, I'm generating the instances here in a very odd way, just because I wanted the alternating pattern. Basically, I wanted it to work like a UV map. Under the hood, it uses a UV map, distributes the points, and then moves those to where the faces actually are in world space. But as we can see, it leads to some quirkiness. So, oh, why is it lagging when I get close? Whoa, yeah, why is it lagging? Too many instances? No. It's like some weird bump map stuff happening. This will be plank 1. Yeah, let's go and take a look at this. Don't need you. Metallic and roughness, I'm pretty sure those are 0. Or basically nothing. Okay, so there is technically some stuff in there, but you know, we can just chop that out. Make it as efficient as possible. So all I want to do is use the random object info random, and then use the hue, saturation, and value node, plug you into there, put that into there, and here we can go and randomize this so that it doesn't look like the same plank for the most part. I'm gonna take a look at the actual values. Okay, that works. Is it just that? Yeah, looks like the bump is a little bit too much. So I could... Normals are a bit weird, but I'm assuming that's planned. Though, if I were to just get rid of the custom normal data... But that actually looks better, so maybe that did not import right either. We have that, and then I could just use that, and then use the color for a bump map. Maybe that would work well. So just bump that up by a bit. I mean, that doesn't look bad. Maybe I can mix the two together, and that would help. And then add in the randomness. Potentially. We have that, and then we can add in some of that. Yeah, it's all up to personal preference this time. If we reduce that, so that gives us good high frequency detail. But the lower frequency detail, we can do a bit of actually. Something doesn't feel right about the normal map. It should be fine, though it didn't look... it's probably fine. Let's go back in the GeoNode editor, and then go and randomize the planks. There we go. Maybe they're just a bit too close together. Fix that. Maybe I can just scale those up a bit or down. No, I would have to change the spacing. That's fine for now. Just take a look at it. Yep, the planks are very shiny. So let's go into the shader editor and change that up by a bit. Could just use this, but I feel like I should use a noise texture so that we get much more variation. Again, all up to my preferences. Because here, yeah, we get a very nice repeating pattern going on. Well, I don't really want that. So let's go and get the UV map. Have a nice little noise texture. Use the random value node to add to the UV map. So here we'll use vector math add and a regular multiply node, plug one into the other so that we have a UV map that's very, very, very offset. I'll do maybe 100. If you go too high, you could run into float point precision error, so I would not recommend doing that too much. Let's go and set that to be there, turn that to be there, do that, scale down, yeah, that's a very... maybe a bit too small, but I can dial that in whenever I want. And that's the goal. Customize, oh yeah, no, that That'll work. Maybe just like half the scale. We have that, and I can just go and do this. Maybe I should change it to ease. Maybe that would be better. Maybe raise the minimum thing there. Yeah. And maybe I should throw a bevel on it. Throw a bevel modify. Oh no. Or wait, these things aren't merged, are they? Yeah, I had a feeling. Though we're still not seeing any of that happening, so there is a pinched vertex or two inside there. Ah, yes, that's the problem. Let's throw in a tries to quads, so that I can just select the faces that I want, or the edges, in this case, that I want to bevel. Throw on mean bevel weight, and then change this to be weight. So we can see it's only beveling the edges, not the internal parts that would crease and just not work. And I applied that to the wrong plank. I'm a part-time genius. Let's go and do the same thing again, even though it won't be too bad. Hopefully that one edge, that one part right there won't be a big issue. It probably won't be. Select all those, mean bevel weight turned up. Do that, go into there. Throw in the bevel over to here. You know, some people, quite a few people dislike the new modifier menu, and I understand why, but being able to search is so nice. We really need to be able to search in the preferences tab. But, let's do some, right, I need to merge. There we go. Let's go and dial it down by a bit. Not the worst. And that is the right plank this time, right? Yeah. I just need to go in the GeoNode editor and change the spacing to be, you know, a bit more spacious. 0.1. No, it needs more? Oh, wait a minute. I know what's up. I just need to add in, yeah, that spacing. I need to add, not multiply. There we go. So now we have that, some okay variation, but it feels like I need to add in quite a bit more, because I'm not liking how that looks. That's all. Let's go back to the shader editor, go back there once again. Here, what is going on? Shading, harden normals. Or let's do normals, weighted normals. Let's throw that before, oh, come on. Face influence, keep sharp. Huh? I mean, that helps, but what was causing... I mean, I could just mark these parts as sharp and then call it a day, but... Nah, okay, let's just keep it... what is going on there? That's not good. Garden normals. That's not fast. Yeah, what is going on there? Oh, wait, what? I don't know, what is going on with that, all of that? Throw that onto there, and that helps a little bit? So that fixes that, but that is weird. Turn off hardened normals. Or, yeah, I could do what was done before, but this, that's fine. Okay, so we have all of that, all the planks are doing their thing. Similar shapes, and I could go and displace it even more. But we can see that, you know, it works pretty well. Pretty well. Although, if I were to have the sun... Oh, that's a lot better. Significantly better. See that... Yeah, that's happening there. Although, wait a minute. Oh, wait Wait a second. Because of... Let's take a look at the folded mesh. Ah, okay, that's why that's doing that. Yeah, they're so wide that, yeah, okay. It's not a bug, even though if I were to subdivide the thing a bit more, it would probably be better, but yeah, it's fine. Okay, so we got wooden planks doing all that. I can delete all the other planks because those are very unnecessary at this time. Let's go and scale this so that it's just wider on axis. Does that fit well? I think it does. And then we can scale it down even more. Though something has gone very, very wrong. Ah. Bevel's fault. Okay, so maybe why 1.5 just to make it a little bit thicker. And then I could throw on maybe a few subdivisions to make it look better. Okay. That's all good. Let's go back to the geonode part of the bricks and then randomize the position a bit more. Here we could do that, which that is an interesting look, but not what I'm going for. 0.01. Oh yeah, that adds in some well-needed randomness. So again, if I spent a lot more time on this, I could make it so that, you know, the instances that go and clip up towards the ends of faces could be, you know, properly handled and all that. Or it could be like hand done, where you go and place all the instances there, make sure all that's, you know, not clipping into each other, all that's fine and stuff. And then the deformation would work just as well. You would have to reference a collection instead of just instances. But it would work quite well. Then what would happen if I just distributed points on faces? Would that be a really, really bad idea? There's the base, which, yeah, I would just need to do that. Plug that into there. Let's see what happens. And turn up the density by a lot. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Possum disc. I forget how it's actually pronounced. 1,000, maybe 10,000. Please don't. Not bad, but I just need to. Is it scaled in properly? It has to be. Go and take a look at the heck. That is not good. Where? Am I missing something big here? Oh no, because it's trying to deform and then it gets removed. Yeah, no, I was missing something quite important. Into there, we'll just go and plug that into there. Okay, so we have way too many points. Do that. Let's go and reduce you by half. And then I can go and do this, but it won't work properly because the distance will not stretch properly. Yeah, what the? Oh, wait a minute. I just straight up don't need this part in this case. There we go. That explains a lot and is not annoying whatsoever. So here, could just chop out that, then put that in there, and that should work because I only really need the rotation. Though for some weird reason, we have that, we have that. I want it to just, let's just ignore that and not mess with it. Bypass all that. Let's copy you so that we're not mixing or knotting up the wires. Let's go and move this down to be like yeah, density of 100. Let's see. Okay, that's all right. Still not ideal. When we apply that to there, okay, it's getting a bit better. But we should see, yep, the folding process is working as intended. It will just work as intended until there's no instances to move. Because again, that part of the logic is very concrete. It's very simple. Just reads the closest part to the folding mesh in its rest position, gets the face transformation matrix, compares that to the deformed face transformation, and then transfers that over to the instances. So that works quite well. And in real time, which is always a plus. So yeah, I guess the debate right now is whether or not I keep whether I go back to the brick displacement or the brick layout. I'm kind of thinking going back to that would be beneficial. Although, because I very smartly screwed up the process. There we go. So yeah, I think that's good for now. I need to try this on other objects as well. Like I could make this all out of stones or icospheres or whatever I want. I could fracture the base bridge into a ton of Voronoi cells and then displace those as well. All that would work. I have so many things at my disposal, and it's just like, oh, what do I want to try today? For now, this is working as intended. But it's weird how gray it all looks. When I did set the value to be lower, go and remove you, so we only need... That's just something I keep on doing, just keep carving out all the textures until I'm left with the base color and a noise texture, and that's it. Because that's what works. Let's go and throw in a hue saturation value node so that I can go and turn up the saturation. Let's go and make sure I want to turn it up, change it so that it's a bit more of a brown. So don't increase the saturation by too much. I don't want it to be red. I want it to be a nice, rich, dark brown. Which that is... It's looking red, but that could be a nice mahogany. That's okay. Let's go and... it's all still looking gray because of the lighting. Yeah. So if I were to throw on another HDRI... Or maybe it's the shininess that's doing it? Probably. I made it very light. Okay. Let's go and change this so that we can have a dark and very, very light variant. Of course, I'll need to try... actually, that's okay. Even though the contrast is weird. No, I want it to still be in this range. I don't want to use a color node. Yeah, no, that's weird. There we go. Do you have a course for this wizardry? Unfortunately, no. I'm not really the type of person to make courses. I've had quite a few companies ask me to make courses for them, and unfortunately I've had to decline them all. It's because I don't really feel like doing it. Like, I think it's because maybe I'm not confident enough in my abilities to make a course. Because I still lack some of the technical knowledge for this. But yeah, though there have been people with less knowledge than me that have made courses, so it's I could do it. If I had the motivation, which I don't really have right now. All that gets done like that, and then all the boards just go right there. So again, yeah, I can do this to any mesh I want. Well, let's save this because I might go and undo changes I'm about to do in the future. So again, this is the base mesh, you know, just a simple bridge, you know, not too much. Let's throw in the monkey, and I want to go and, yeah, subdivide it. Let's go and apply that. I need to assign a start vertice using the vertex group for the mesh unrolling to take hold. Let's go and take a look at the folded version. And it's not working because I need to change the threshold. There we go. If you just select one vertice, it wants to go and select faces and all that, which is a little bit iffy. Whoa. Well, that's trippy and freaky as hell, but yeah, I need to turn down the subdivision level. And of course I need to turn down the threshold again. There we go. Let's go and remove the eyes, because that is not needed. Probably should have saved the old base model, but it's fine. Take out the eyes. Let's take a look at the brick version. Yep, okay, it's gonna work. So 3, 2, 1. Yep, it works. Though the scale's a little bit off. I can change that easily. We just need to go into, yeah, I could just go and scale the instances in post. Scale instances, throw it on there, bring it over to here, bring you and you over. Like, I do need to clean this up. Though, the segments, I should have labeled the frames. Which I could do now, but I'm probably going to reset the file anyway, so it doesn't matter. Let's go and set this to be 0.5, throw it on into there, and we can see, yep. It's working as intended, even though, because of the way it's set up, the parts are floating a lot more than I would like. A lot more than I would like. I could go and change the scaling of this so that we get many more planks. Then I just change this to be less as well. 0.3 should be fine. I still want it to cover most of the area, so I'm just gonna go and do a cheeky scale here and there. Okay. So that's a bit better, yeah. Very cool. Though any stretching in the UV map will lead to this happening, which is annoying. Although, there is a handy little... Oh, I need to sneeze. 1 second, everyone. Alright. Sneeze has concluded. Wow, that hurt. Unfortunately, my sneezes are like a cannon, which is very unfortunate. You ever try to hold in a sneeze, and then the sneeze happens, and then it feels like your lungs burst? Yeah, that's not fun. Let's go and minimize stretch right here. Iterations, just... let's be... yeah. So minimizing the stretch, we can see that the stretch has been minimized to a degree. Though not entirely. It's gotten a lot better here, but still not great. Back there, there's some weird stuff happening, I'm assuming, because parts are overlapping? I don't know why those parts are freaking out, to be honest. I'm assuming that some parts are just still horrendously stretched. And what does that do? Ever leads to the best looking results. I mean, that seems to be the equilibrium that it can get to, so I'm not going to push it any further. With a minimal amount of seams, there's only so much you can do. Okay, let's go back to the chat. Oh, I forgot to read this. Just a little question, if you see it. I'm trying simulation nodes, and I'm using a raycast to detect collisions, but somehow many particles seem to go through the ground after a few bounces. Yes, that is because when your particles settle, the raycast is now looking beneath the ground plane because of either float point precision issues or something along those lines. So I would actually recommend not using raycasts for collisions, because if your particles have radii, that would be not good at all. So instead, what I recommend to do is Oh, this... You know what? The easiest way to do collisions is to just use the nodes in my everyday node pack, which is free up on Gumroad. I know it is a plug, but literally, it's the easiest way. So use the SDF mesh and SDF collision. Just use these two because I've done the work so that you don't have to. Again, internally right here. Oh, I forgot that the nodes got bigger in the later versions of Blender. Basically ignore most of this. The main thing you need to do is that you just need to sample the nearest surface and the normal, and then with that you can determine if the particles are inside or outside the mesh, and it'll go and move them outside. So you take the sign distance and the normal, and then with that you can use some collision math, which don't worry about this. Again, I've done it so that you don't have to. You do that and have your velocity attribute be affected, and all that will work perfectly. Even though friction is still not as good as I would like, all that would work. So again, just go and get my everyday node asset pack, use these in your collision setup, and not worry about it. Very good. Okay, you are crazy. Obsessed with procedural stuff, yeah, but crazy, not yet, not yet. I still don't know why the parts back here are freaking out, because as far as I know, why would those be freaking out? It's not, is it a seam? Let's actually check that. Let's see, seams from island. Let's go and do that. Now we can actually see where the seams are. There's no seam, so why would it start freaking out now? Let's take a look. So here, these ones freak out. So what is the problem with those? I genuinely don't know. Why would that happen? Oh, this is going to lead to 5 million tangents. I really... let's ignore that for now. It's probably just a weird edge case. Yeah. I could fill in the eyes. That may be good. The thing is, for the folding, you need everything to be nice and manifold. So we need to take both of these, make sure they have a dedicated space on the UV board. Let's make sure these are at the same line. Should be fine. So now if we take a look at the bricks, if those are covered well enough. So yeah, both of those happen. So there, even though, let's go and scale it up by a little bit just so that, yeah, that's better. Okay, there we go. So now the eyes are boarded up. And the UV tangent is annoying me a little bit. Oh, it's because it's not quads. Okay. Let's see. Hi, just wanted to say I admire your art so much and you got amazing skills. I love your Geonode setups and tips. You're an inspiration. Oh, I'm glad. Yeah. All this Geonode stuff, I do quite like it. Even though, like, sometimes I get a bit frustrated with the math, looking at you collision math. Which hopefully, who knows if the Blender devs end up getting that into 5.0, the XPBD physics into the later versions. That would be amazing. I'm not holding my breath for that because I held my breath before. But who knows, maybe for 5.0. We're working on it today and it looks like progress is going pretty well. But yeah, collisions are the most annoying thing. Once collision points are solved, I could do so many things. Yeah. Go back to the base because the eye part's right there, not being aligned, annoys me greatly. That's, wait, why are, is it because it's not fully triangulated? Or no, it's because of that. Let's slant them just a little bit. There we go. Go and turn that off. Okay. Yeah, that's doing well. Form is preserved while all that is working as well. Let's see. I dig the eyeless monkey though. Love the creepiness. Yeah, well, I could just delete it if I want to. Let's see. looks sick. I was waiting for a tutorial on this. I see you're sampling the UV map in GeoNodes. Is that new, or am I just oblivious to GeoNode features? Okay, it depends. So, the generation of the instances does use the UV map, but that's not the important part. The important part is the folding setup, which... The important part is that, and then let's go back over to... Oh, wow, that's bright. Folding setup, which took a good amount of effort to do, and then the second part is just deforming or displacing the instances by the face transfer. Ooh. Typed that. But yeah, this is all the math needed to deform instances based on, or displace instances based on the face transform, not smoothed, because we're not going to be using UV tangents here. For simplicity's sake. Yeah, for the brick generation. Where are you here? I don't know, but we don't need you anymore. Yes. So, right here, it's sampling the UV surface. Now, this has been a thing for, I think, before Blender 3.6, I believe. But allows you to sample attributes based on the UV map. So in this case, I'm sampling the transform matrix based on that, which maybe, why is that acting weird? Is it because I need to evaluate it on the face corner domain to guarantee that's going right? I don't know. Oh, no. Oh, okay. No, that was not a problem. Whoops. Let's go and also check. How's the tangent looking? Yeah, the tangent is not smoothened out. It is slightly affected, but yeah, no, that should be fine. Rotations are not supported, so I need to use a vector math node to go and make it so that's actually viewable. You know, that's fine. And we need to make sure that's on the face corner too. Oh, it's not fine. Excuse-moi, why is that not fine? Look at that. Okay, so something about the normal screws up. Oh, shoot. It needs to be the true normal. And also, I need to guarantee that's evaluated on the face domain. Okay, well, nothing too bad right there. Just a simple little fix. And now, in theory, yeah, it's still screwed up. Does it have to be like this? Primary and secondary. Well, why would that screw it up? And why would... If I can't figure this out within the next 10 minutes, or 5 minutes, I'm going to just move along. Something about that is causing a weird interpolation issue, which should not be occurring. Even if it's evaluated on the face domain. No, if I were to just do it on the face domain, it would be fine. Okay, let's just go and evaluate this on the face domain so that we don't need to worry about that. All we need is the face data anyway, so it's fine. Just do that, plug it into there, and then that one can go on as it's supposed to. Here we can see all that's fine now, even though it does seem like there's some weird stuff occurring. And, yeah, it seems to be good. Okay, don't need to worry about that. Don't need to worry about that. There's a little quirk happening there, but that's all solved. There we go. Okay. Is this unrolling stuff for some project or just fun/hobby? Just, fun/hobby/ I did put this up on Gumroad for sale, so it has made me money. But mainly just for fun at this point. And, you know, it's quite cool. This effect originally started from, Intagma, right. Intagma made an effect like this a long time ago. Just unrolling faces, but it was much more complicated because, well, one, it was in Houdini with Vex, while with Blender, it can be a bit it can be a bit simpler just because we have some nodes that make the index searching a bit easier, if I remember correctly, maybe. And then deforming the instances. And I originally made this before matrices were in Blender or exposed in GeoNodes, which was, I would not recommend doing that. Again, I would recommend, oh, Blender 4.5.1 came out, so go download that. It has quite a few bug fixes. Personally, I haven't run into any bugs with 4.5, but if you've run into any, download Blender 4.5.1 and you'll be golden. Let's see. Thinks I'll study the SDF collision system just to see if I'm not too old or gotten too dumb. SDFs in theory are simple, it's just generation in Blender is a little bit annoying because you need to sample the nearest normal, sample the nearest position, and then do math to extract the sign distance field. But basically, SDFs are simple. It basically just tells you, oh, what's the distance outside the mesh or inside the mesh? Outside the mesh being positive, inside being negative. And then we also need the normal from the object so that we know which direction to move the particles when they collide. So, to put it simply, the SDF tells us how far the particle is inside the mesh and what direction it needs to go to get outside the mesh. So just with a few multiplication steps, you could go and move your particle outside. Now, the annoying part is the velocity, because you need to take into account friction and the restitution or the bouncing. Fortunately, that's all been handled for you in the notes that I made, so that you just don't need to do it yourself. Should we finally move on from 4.1? I think it's time. It's been 2 years since or like a year and a half since Blender 4.1, and it's been a long time coming, mainly just because Eevee was prohibitively slow. But as we can see, it's gotten a lot better. It's still noisier than Eevee Legacy, still has a few quirks, but with the compositor getting better, with Bloom, again, now we have Bloom in the compositor, while with Blender 4.2 and 4.3, I forget, did 4.3 have Bloom? Maybe it did, but it was the one with the old bad UI. Now we can actually choose the strength. While before, the strength was set to 0 and you had to, or the mix was the strength, kind of. You need to set the mix to be, what was it? Negative 9.95 for it to look somewhat like the old Bloom, and then the tint just was not available. So now, I would say, yeah, upgrade to Blender 4.5. The compositor is, well, it has, you know, actual textures in there. You can get the image information. The compositor got a huge overhaul. Eevee Next is finally fast with Vulkan enabled. And it's just, I can finally recommend it. Like, I'm heavily considering switching to 4.5 as my work daily driver. So, yeah. I would say, yeah, give it a go. If you're using Blender 4.2 or later, upgrade to 4.5. Just don't use Blender 4.2 or 4.3 or 4.4. Just don't. Use Blender 4.5. But if you're using 4.1, you know, that one, it has been the most reliable out of the bunch. Yeah. But 4.5, I still haven't used it enough to fully see if there are crashes. Like, I got a crash a few days ago, but I think it's because in the compositor I set one of these steps to be way too high. It was like infill or in painting, and I set to something like 100 or 1,000 because I was like, oh, let's do 100 pixels. Okay, that's not too bad. 1,000. Oh no, it crashed because it was just taking too long. That's the only thing, and it was self-induced, kind of like subdividing too much. Yep, that is that, and I think with all that, I think that'll be it for today, because we're almost at an hour. So the effect was a success, even though the texture tiling is a little too evident, which is annoying. Though I could fix that with just a little bit of colorization, or I could just go and make it brown, and that would be good. Though making it look like, that is The bloom is so beautiful. Ooh, that's... licorice. Looks quite good. And then right here, a nice... Even though the hue is edited a bit more than I would like, let's just go and avoid that entirely. Use a very nice dark and saturated brown. I mean, that looks good. Still looks like things are repeated, but I could just mix noise into it. It's funny how I downloaded a Plank asset and then I stripped away basically everything to the point where it's like, oh, let's just use the noise texture a bit here, a bit there, and then use it for everything and forget that other textures even existed. It's so funny that I always do that. Let me disable the set so that I can actually see what the hell I'm doing. Set this to be 0.25, set that to be 10. Is that a bit too much? Yes, it is. Let's set it to be 5. We can turn up the detail level and turn it down again. Oh yeah, no, that's good for wooden planks. And let's go and plug that back into there. Okay, it's looking better, but needs a bit more of that, though that's a bit too much. Yeah, and then I just need to use this to affect, let's color ramp. A good rule of thumb when working in Blender is if the colors look good, the shader will follow suit. In this case, I just need this to look, you know, relatively like wood. And then just make sure the colors look good. It's a bit desaturated. But it still looks grand. The roughness seems to have gone down a bit. Actually, wait a minute. The noise scale, something's up with that. Okay. So let's just turn that up, turn this down by a bit. Because the noise interval is a bit much. Nope, let's set that to be, the ratio needs to be around the same. And that seems to be fine. Let's check the normal. How does that look? A bit much, so I can go and turn down that. Oh yeah, that's looking nice. Do that, and it's okay. Could be better. Yeah, I think, like with that texture, what the, oh, right. It's the corner fading that adds just a little bit more. It makes it look a little bit better, which unfortunately with this I'm lacking. So, yeah. Bit unfortunate, but it's okay. Then we do that. So I think I'll stick with this. The nice little, I don't know, it's almost like wicker. No, it's made out of the planks. So I may try several variants, like making one that's made out of just metal shards would be pretty cool, and that would work well. I wouldn't need to use the brick setup at all. It would just be, you know, randomly distributed points, and then just set the elevation level to be random so that they don't clip into each other. That would work fine. Again, I can do whatever instance or object setup I want, and it'll just be deformed by the folding algorithm. So yeah, that is that. Let's see. I've been having some problems with 4.5. I had to reinstall my NVIDIA drivers and some random crashes. Interesting. Yeah, Vulkan... Interesting. It seems to be only with some graphics cards, which is unfortunate. But if you run into any crashes, please report them. But yeah. Also, just download Blender 4.5.1, and some of those should be solved. The changelog was quite big. Alright, we are almost at an hour. Let's see, I've been using 4.1 for work/serious stuff and all new versions for personal experimentation. I haven't gotten to try out 4.5 yet. Yeah, that's what I've been doing as well. Because, unfortunately, EV Next just felt way too, a bit rushed. Which is funny to say because it was delayed by 2 years, but I think that's just because Vulkan is so complicated to develop for. And it's not just Blender. I've heard for several other programs that Vulkan's been a pain in the butt to develop for. But apparently it's the future and all that, so you have to use it. And all that fun stuff. But yeah. Alright. GPU support on cycles didn't work with the older drivers. Interesting. Haven't heard of that before. Okay, let's go... Well, I'll probably bring the old bridge model back into this. So I will save this. Then yeah. Alright, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Yeah, we'll see what other things I can cook up with this. But for now, this is it for this project. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.